Good morning and welcome to Frank's School, 70th day of the 7th year, first video. Here's a playlist for August of 2019. I mentioned it before. I have a guest coming with his two sons from Hong Kong. And August, what is there to do? There's so much to do. I'll just run down through it. Build. Things to build. Well, a water wheel. I've got about 8 to build, but there's one that we could very easily build, and maybe more. We'll see how much we like it. The housing itself, where he and his two sons can lay their heads at night, working on that. Lots of work to be done there. A folk hut. We probably should build a folk hut. Maybe, just so there's more people in the world that see how that's done. Maybe build one from scratch. A windmill. Yeah, I have one that's partially built already, and once again, I've got about 8 to build. We could do that if that appealed. Stairs. I've got a set of stairs to build. Well, I've got several, but that's probably, I should wait and do that in September when I can do it slowly and think hard about it. Fencing. There's so much fencing to be built. Roofs. Yeah, I've got some roofs I have to repair before winter. We could do it. I'm a little reluctant to have my guests do something that could be a little dangerous. My library, well, it's around here. It surrounds me right now. It needs to be moved out to my classroom, and the shelves, the classroom itself has to be built. The shelves, that's maybe a more major project than we should do, but it's available. A bridge. A covered bridge for walking, really, not for driving a car across. Yeah, I could really use one, especially if I have a party. The aqueduct needs to be restored. There's a sort of a double aqueduct, and the goats have knocked it all down. A day's work, and it could all be restored. The bake oven, yeah. I'd gotten to a certain point where for baking bread, where I had built it, it was kind of all there, and then I realized that there was a better way to do something about the bottom of it, so I stopped. That was about 2 years ago, but it's all there. That's kind of important. Weirs. Now, a weir is like a dam. I don't like to use the word dam because a weir doesn't necessarily impound water. It just diverts water. And there are 4 weirs that are really required for the water wheels and the they're not really required under normal conditions because, well, they're there, but they don't need to be maintained because there's just so much water. But going into August, if it gets dry, they'll have to be seen to. And of course, that's fun. It's like kids playing in the creek. We'll do that for sure because that's just too much fun. A vault for a furnace. There are at least three places where I'm building furnaces big enough to burn whole pallets. And at least one of them, probably only one, will actually have a vault for its cover. And I have the bricks there, I have the fire bricks there, and you don't get to build a vault every day. So, that I could at least start it. I think that would be an important thing for them to learn. Homemade machinery, well, that's really genuine play. I've got a glass crushing machine that I started to build, a tilt hammer. That's also called a trip hammer. There are other sort of homemade machines. A bandsaw, a homemade bandsaw. The gardens, they're there. They're not. They still continue to be developing and experimental, but if that's one of those things that can be done too. And of course, any given day, we could jump from one thing to the other to the other. The animals need to be taken care of. That's like chores. And these boys, now, Ki Liu really wants his sons to learn English. And I'm not going to lose sight of that. He wants to make sure that was really, in a way, his first reason to come here, so that I could teach them English. But the boys, as near as I can tell, what's most exciting to them is to be around animals. These are people that live in Hong Kong, one of the biggest cities in the world. And to that order, to that end, I've ordered some chicks. I'll have 10 meat chicks that are coming at the beginning of August, and the boys can raise them. Now, in addition to the building various things, VHS tapes, I've got a vast collection of VHS tapes that they could go through, say in the evenings if they wanted to see, are they still okay? Have they survived storage? Do they need to be cleaned? I'll have to get a VCR again and a screen, and they could do that. We could make music. The one boy, I think it's the older boy, plays violin well enough that he has toured this month. He's touring Europe in an orchestra. I don't know if he'll have his violin with him. Probably not. But one way or another, we could make music. Sit by a fire. Now, in August, you wouldn't normally think about that, but that's a fun thing to do. And I have a big fireplace that I have built. It's one of the first things I built. And, we could build a little fire in there just to do that. Make a movie? Yeah, we could make a movie. I mean, I have this movie that I'm trying so hard to make to start next year, but we could have a party. It's possible toward the end of August that I just might have a blowout down in the field where I've got so much stuff I want to give away, and that might be an excuse for having a party. Now, touring, the neighbors. I've got very interesting neighbors, and I'm sure they're going to want to meet these people. These people are going to want to meet them. We go into Bedford. Bedford is a lovely town, very interesting town, and many tourists go there. Washington, D.C., maybe, although I have this feeling that they get enough of cities. That's not why they're coming all the way from halfway around the globe. The sawmill, we'll certainly go to a sawmill, because I'm going to need lumber, and that'll be a little bit of a tour. And then hiking in the mountains, on the mountain, up in the woods, we can do that. All right, that's fast, but there we have a playlist, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot. Bye for now.